The following program is a paid presentation. The views and/or opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of KWAM.
This is Wake Up Memphis, brought to you by the Memphis Police Association.
67 shots fired.
Back up, it's an automatic weapon. He's firing at us. I got rounds for the front of my car. It's time to wake up.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. The police are necessary. And you may not like the police, but if in fact you're going to have the police, then you should want quality officers. Because if you have not been paying attention to the news, Memphis is off the chain. That's why we need quality officers.
For heaven's sakes, bruh, when will we wake up? We on the verge of total extinction. For heaven's sakes, trust.
She said, baby, she said, I used to talk so bad about the police department all the time. I said, all y'all did was sit up at MAPCO and drink coffee and eat donuts. She said, well, baby, I'm going to tell you this. She said, from this day forward, I'm going to keep my mouth off of y'all. Y'all got a hard job. And I was glad that she was able to see that, you know, and it gave her a different perspective.
Talk about what you think about gun violence in the city, you know, in the city of Memphis or around the world. What you think the solution would be.
That we're going to increase youth activities in this city to draw them out of the streets. And I'm not talking about just playing at it and talking about it. I'm talking about take some of these community centers and put computer labs in them, put television rooms in them, put audio-visual labs, put recording studios, put game rooms, put... Hello? We can even invest in them on the front end because some people say, well, Michael, that costs money. We don't want to spend our money. You spending money to incarcerate them. You spending money to incarcerate them. Sometimes just the presence deter crime. Not to just beat people up, no. We need to get back into community policing, sir. Wake Up Memphis from Behind the Badge, brought to you by the men and women of the Memphis Police Association, and my name is Mike Williams, and I am the president of the Memphis Police Association, representing approximately 1,900, I think they said 72 last week, police officers in the great city of Memphis. It's a beautiful day outside. It's a wonderful day to be above ground. It's a wonderful day to just be in the city of Memphis. And I was just listening to the 19 Strong show. It was an outstanding show. But I had J. Cole, which is on the negotiation team, and Matt Cunningham to come into the 19 Strong show. And I've been trying to get them to come to the MPA show for I don't know how long, and they wouldn't even come. But that's okay. That's okay. I do have to give it to J. Cole. He did come to the television show, so I guess that was a plus. Anyway, I have my sidekick in the studio today that represents the community, Timberly. What's going on, Timberly?
I have had a busy day. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello.
She in here doing her nails, putting on lip gloss, putting on perfume. No. I mean, she doing everything but had to shove the mic in her face. Jesus Christ.
No.
Man, I tell you, but that's okay.
I can't do nails.
Well, you over there doing some womanly stuff. I don't know, you know. Look like nails to me. All of it falls into the same category, Dula, for me. Just woman stuff, you know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about city stuff.
Oh, you want to talk about woman stuff. You want to talk about city stuff.
I want to talk about city stuff because it's not just a woman thing. It's a city thing.
It's a city thing?
So I just left the meeting for the Bus Riders Union, which involves some city leaders, some county commissioners.
Okay.
The head of MATA. Uh-huh. The interim president, right. You know, last president had...
The last one had to expeditiously leave.
Yes.
He had an illness.
Yeah, first it was personal reasons, and then, you know, we found out that it was a little...
Found out what the truth was, huh?
Right. So, it was a neighborhood blast-off meeting. That's what they entitled it A Way Out of Poverty. And so what they're saying, what the president of MATA is saying, the CEO, Gary Rosenfeld, is saying that they need $30 million.
What?
They need $30 million to double the services provided in the Memphis community so that everyone can be served properly. In 2013, 52% of MATA services were cut. That included the 31 crosstown.
Hold on. 52% of the bus services to the citizens of the city was cut.
Yep.
Did they give a reason why?
Because of funding, because they did not have the revenue needed.
Who didn't have the revenue?
MATA.
Okay, hold on. Now let me get this straight. MATA. Memphis.
Area Transit Authority.
So it belongs to the city of Memphis.
Correct.
Okay. And they're saying
the city oversees part of it, but you know.
Okay, what that mean? Break it down.
So they provide funding.
Yes.
But there's also federal funding that goes in.
Okay, so we get federal dollars.
We get federal dollars,
okay.
But the federal dollars come with stipulations, so they can't use that per se on all the things that they wish they could.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay.
So they were saying that they need grant money. They need more grant money so that they can increase, according to what was said to me by Mr. Rosenfeld, they are about 15 years behind technologically.
Duh.
Well, I mean, isn't that the city of Memphis' story altogether?
Well, that's because they have not invested the money in the infrastructure of the city. They have not invested the money where citizens pay their taxes for and their core dollars for. They're giving all the money for economic development, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later, which is
Amtrak,
their priority as opposed to what the citizens have a need for, which is a public transportation system. But go ahead.
Right. So what it boils down to, the communities are being shortchanged because the lack of frequency.
Say it ain't so.
The lack of frequency in ridership because of the lack of provision of services.
Well, it's not convenient.
It's not convenient. You have to spend hours riding to get to a destination. I know many bus riders who, before they go to work, have to stand outside an hour or two. I used to ride the bus to school.
Yes.
I had to get up. I think my school started at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and I had to get up. I was on the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was on the bus shortly after 6 o'clock in the morning. So what's happening when we don't have the frequency that we need because the need for efficiency outweighs what we have for revenue? We have people trapped in their neighborhood.
Yes.
And when you're trapped in your neighborhood and you don't have access to better jobs or jobs that you know you could do and perform well, you don't have, I don't want to say you don't have any other option because it boils down to choices, but it increases the chances of crime going up because you got to eat, right? And that's what people, that's what people are dealing with every day. Brittany Carter, who is disabled, was at the meeting. She rides MATA Plus. She doesn't get service on the weekends at all. She had to spend $40 to get to, she had to catch a cab, spend $40 to get to the bus riders meeting so that she can tell people what's affecting her.
God.
$40. And she's on a fixed income. She has a part-time job. She can't walk. These are the types of things that are being affected by public transportation.
You know what? See, and don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about the contract that the city of Memphis is trying to get the police officers to sign. Mayor Jim Strickland, Memphis Tomorrow, the Shelby County Crime Commission, and the Memphis Police Department command staff. However, I wanted Timberly to talk about the MATA situation because this fits right into what we've been saying all along. It's not just the police officers that are being affected, and it's citizenry in the city of Memphis as a whole. Because Timberly's here talking about the MATA situation, but you have other organizations that are talking about smart meters. You got people talking about the animal shelter. You got people that are not satisfied with what's going on in Overton Park with the Greenwoods. You got the Fight for 15 campaign trying to get adequate wages for citizens within this city.
And those people ending up on the blacklist.
We ain't finna talk about no blacklist up in here, Timberly. And the people ended up on the blacklist.
I stand.
Okay? No. Well, okay. People ended up on the blacklist. I'm just messing with you. But I say all of that because you do not want to restrict a person's rights. And they should have access to City Hall. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I do. I get it. And they should have access to City Hall. Yeah, Mike Williams said that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I don't want to, I thought I was on the blacklist. I don't want nobody to follow me around. You know what I mean?
Well, technically you're a city employee, so how would they be able to?
But my name is probably on a list in a safe somewhere, Timberly.
Well, of course.
Yeah. But that's a whole nother story. But I have been to, believe it or not, bus rider union meetings. You know, because I want to know. I'm a citizen. I want to know. When they had the meeting over in conjunction with the MATA union at Gaston Community Center, I was there. When they initially started and they were having meetings down in front of City Hall and all of that, and when they were protesting, I was there, you know. And, you know, like Sheridan was saying, they always try to make what I do a fight between me and Jim Strickland, Mayor Strickland, because I ran for mayor. But see, my fight goes way back. I was fighting when Wharton was there, if everybody may remember. You know, yeah. I was fighting him for about 7 years. But I was fighting because it's about human rights. It's about citizens in the city being able to do the things that they need to do. It was about an expectation of a taxpayer that pays their taxes that they receive adequate representation plus adequate services, because that's what I pay my tax dollars for. I pay my tax dollars for core services. I want you to do that first. I want a premier transportation system, you know. Since I own MLG&W and I'm a ratepayer, I want choice in whether I have a smart meter or not.
And not to be charged if you don't want a smart meter.
Well, and how can you continue to give citizens a hard time when they say they don't want it? You know, you should have went to the citizens in the first place since you're spending over $1 billion. Well, hold on. That's billion with a B.
Yes, but that's the track record. If you look at what's going on, MLG&W did this change program, and they're doing it, and you have to opt out. Why can't you opt in? That's crazy. They're going to force you.
Well, because they make it harder, because they know a lot of people that may not have communications, they may not have the ability to opt out.
And they might.
A lot of them aren't even going to know to opt out because they're not paying attention. And they rely on that. So they're going to automatically take the change, the pennies, out of your MLG&W bill. And that's going to automatically give them additional income. And they say it's to help the people. You know, we always say that. It's in your best interest. It's to help the people. I know better than you what's good for you. Not necessarily. We're going to go ahead and go to the phone line because we already have callers calling in. And I think we have Alan on the line. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, how you doing, Mike?
Hey, what's
Y'all
up?
Not on the internet. Y'all not on the internet. Yeah, I got a bad taste of the Strickland administration too, because Jim Strickland probably don't know who's want to help him. Now, if you think Bales and Pitt High were black prominent billionaires, would Jim Strickland, the administration, help those black if they was black? I don't think so. I told Jim Strickland, I said, I got a partner who started from scratch. He won a minority contract. I said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But a lot of white folks, they don't, when you say about matter, smart meters, it's all pertaining to black folks. Dr. Harrington and the AC Warden probably know Jim Strickland better than I do. And asked him, do you have a problem with race? Now, if Pitt High, Bales, Fred Smith were black, I don't think he probably would give them that much money. White folks down there just raping the city, and that's what I said. And we sit, I ain't going to say we, because I'm in Baltimore. They're doing the same thing in Baltimore. We sit back and letting them do it. And you should have been the mayor. That's all. I'm just saying, if my partner, I said, he's my best friend. You know, AC, I had to apologize to AC. At least he was trying to help Deidre Malone. See, white folks help each other. AC was trying to help Deidre, but he wasn't trying to help the police association.
Not at all.
I can't understand it. I can't help that. I can't understand that.
Not at all.
So Jim Strickland probably have all those crab bucket mentality Negroes around him, and they probably saying this, Mike, and I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Help the white folks. We don't help each other. In the black community, we fight among them. Even Dr. Harrington said, "I'm not in the business to make black millionaires." Man, why you running? Why you out of mayor there? Because Memphis is mostly African American.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. So I say I hope it's not personal or they have some deep-seated racial thing against black folks, because I got a partner who worth $10 million. He said, I just want to get some people off the welfare rolls and get them to work. Okay. And he can't get a minority contract. If he can't get one, nobody can. Because I'm so entrenched with the Strickland administration, maybe you ought to run for mayor again.
Oh, and thank you so much for calling, Alan.
All right, thank you. Keep running. You know what I mean?
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, I think we got another caller. We got David. Go ahead, David. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Timberly. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. Mike, I ain't speaking to you.
I see. You know what? Don't be calling up here talking to Timberly.
First of all,
hi, Timberly. How are you? I ain't talking to you, Mike.
Timberly as well.
You a player hater.
Whatever. Timberly.
That's first of all. So I don't want to talk to player haters. So, but anyway, how you doing, brother?
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I can hate both of them if I want to.
Okay. What's up, David?
Haters out there, but anyway, just keep your mouth shut about me and Bev and Stormy.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
Look, well, first of all, enjoyed the conversation last weekend, and I want to remind people, if you heard the discussion that Mike and I had, I knew Mike felt that way about residency requirements when I voted for him for mayor.
Right.
So I was looking at the total picture. We don't agree on that.
Yeah.
But there were other things that I did agree with him on, and I thought he was my best choice for my vote for for the future of the city.
Right.
I watched, and you know, Matter is a sore spot for me because I've been riding Matter off and on in this city since I was about 8 years old. When we first moved from Chicago, right? I remember those long rides going to church and all of that. So, and I, you know, living in other cities, you don't really know how bad mass transportation is until you've lived in other cities, in my view. But we live in a city that got a bunch of tote-to-note lots that are financing cars for people if they need money. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the reason why. Because we don't have adequate mass transportation that gives people the opportunity, by the way, to move out of poverty and to other opportunities. Not only going to work, but going to school, you know, whatever struggles they may have. It's a funny thing. One of my favorite shows after 60 Minutes is Shark Tank. And they had the $100 million episode, which they funded $100 million worth of deals. And Mark Cuban said that everybody on this panel at one time got their lights shut off or couldn't pay a bill.
Right.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
So, or how many people know the story of Fred Smith and what happened with his half-brothers and sisters and how he was arrested? Or the Nike CEO who said, I was a week away from having to go to jail if I didn't get another investor to come in. See, people want to look at the stories about people once they accomplish and think that, oh, they didn't struggle, they didn't lose, they didn't go without a meal.
Are you listening to this, Dula? Go ahead, David.
So the idea that people who are in a certain place in their lives and that we can't help them out of those places by utilization of our tax dollars for something that benefits the whole city, that is things like mass transit, it just pees me off. You know, I don't know whether dude just buckled under pressure, making that kind of money and going to back page. I don't know what the problem was, but what I do know is that it doesn't bode well for whatever vision he had for it, because now you got to get another person in. Now you got to look at what their vision may or may not be, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a sad thing, that whole thing with managers. I'm glad I don't have to ride it every day, you know. So
right.
I do ride it, but I don't have to ride it every day based upon what I do and what I'm trying to do from a career standpoint. But I really feel for those people who are actually paying money for a system I think is just an insult, you know, I just think it's insulting, you know, that taxpayers are paying for a substandard system like that.
Exactly.
You know, I saw behind the headlines last night, they had Berlin Board. I can't ever remember this guy, Harry, was receding, that we always talk about.
Kim Conrad.
Kim Conrad and Worth Morgan. By the way, ain't that a hell of a name for a rich dude, Worth Morgan? But in any case, Berlin, who, like I said, I got no problem. Berlin, cool. You know, I hadn't seen him in a while, right?
Right.
But had the audacity to say, hey, y'all ain't gonna get those benefits back. You're not gonna get that. You gotta get the pension and all that stuff back. Basically, get over it. You know, that's basically what Berlin said last night.
You know what pees me off, David?
And by the way, all of them, I didn't care for what any of them said. I'm just pointing out that Berlin said what he said.
Well, he's that Negro that they're throwing out there. You know, he's that Negro that they got in the window, and they're throwing him out there, and they feel that we, Black Memphis, will be more receptive and understand coming from a black man.
Okay,
because you got people like Kim Conrad, who's ultra conservative, who is in the process or in the mindset that he wants to destroy unions. He don't care about workers in the city. He don't really care about the citizens. He care about Cushman Wakefield and all the money that they can make off of tax dollars.
I agree.
And for Berlin Boyd to be in that position, and he has some of the most affected areas in this city. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, truly, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing anything in Klondike. They're not doing anything in Smoky City, North Memphis. Fraser is screaming for help. Raleigh is screaming for help.
Yeah.
And this is their representative. Guess what, though? A lot of those individuals that live in those areas, guess what? Those are the sanitation workers. Those are police officers. Those are products of those communities. Their parents live in those communities. And you want to sit here and look at me in my face and tell me, now that you have a 56% predominantly African-American police department, most of the city employee pool now is African-American, and you have an African-American that will sit there with these ultra elitists and say, you ain't getting it.
Well, let me say, if this is a backhanded defense of Berlin Board,
go ahead.
Then let it be so.
Go ahead.
I don't see any difference between Berlin Board's stance, for the most part, that I've seen of Dr. Harrington's stance.
Well, okay. I ain't particular all that fond of either one of them. Don't get me wrong. I like Doc as a person, but for 17 years, this city continued to slide into obscurity.
That's the same puppeteer that controlled Dr. Harrington, A.C. Wharton, Strickland, who the same puppeteer, you know, is the same one that controls Berlin Board.
Correct.
So, because as I say, and I say it over and over again, the moves that were made against the city, the employees, fire, police, and the rest of the employees would not have been made without the blessing of the Chamber of Commerce.
That is correct.
It just would not have happened. If the Chamber of Commerce said, hell no, it wouldn't have happened. And then they're going to bring Dallas up. The Dallas about to go to bankrupt. I wouldn't trust you guys if y'all tongue came stamped, certified. I do my own research on that and see whether that's the issue. The real problem, if you want to talk about pensions, I won't be long here, but the real problem is that these states and these cities figure, well, we just walk away. We don't have to pay what we're supposed to pay in many of these cities. Well,
and that's the thing. They didn't want to live up to their obligations.
Exactly. And there's no penalty for that.
Yeah.
If I'm late on my bill, man, they dock me.
Man, with interest and everything.
Exactly.
Late payments.
Yeah. So all over the country, that's the case. But these are workers. These are the bread and butter of what keeps the city, or any city, moving.
Well, but David, that is the business of the city. The city is not in the business of economic development. That, I don't know where they get that from, and they make that the priority. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand that you have to have development, but that's not the primary business of a city. The primary business of a city is to ensure that citizens have certain amenities, core services. When you talk about public safety, when you talk about transportation, when you talk about roads and cleanliness and the environment, those are the things
police and fire.
Well, that's, and I just want to say that police and fire is a component of that. Correct. But there's so many other moving parts.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
There's so many other moving parts. Sanitation. Can you imagine if trash just piled up in the streets?
Look, I went out last week while they were picking up the stuff that I had cut down, thanking the sanitation department for their work.
Exactly.
And I know we paying y'all, man, but still, thank you for doing a good job. So, and what really burns me up, and I say this and I let go, what really burned me up about last night, this is why I can't make it. I'm not a corporate guy. Mm-hmm. Basically, they were framing the conversation that you're not team players. Well, hell, if I got to bend over for to be a team player, no, I don't want to be a damn team player.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're not some of the people who want the best for the city.
Well, first of all, I'm a citizen of this city. Second of all, I'm a product of this city. Yeah. Third of all, I'm an employee of this city. So guess what? I think I have the city's best interests at heart all around.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
I live in these communities. My children live in these communities. My family live in these communities. So you can't tell me that I'm not a team player, but I'm not a fool either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me something and expect me to just go along with it. Oh, you know what's best for me, Berlin Boyd. You know what's best for me, Kim Conrad. You know what's best for me, Mayor Strickland. You know what's best for me, Memphis Tomorrow. You know what's best for me, Crime Commission, and I'm finna get into those because I'm finna get you off of here, David. But I think Timberly got something she wants to say.
This is the thing. In order for someone to be a team player, there has to be a team.
Oh, teach, girl. Teach.
There has to be a team, and not a team where the only people that are in the team are the starters, because that's what's happening. The bench players, LeBron needs help right now because he needs somebody. He needs a sixth man that's going to come off the bench and handle that ball.
Now you want to talk sports. Come on, give that analogy, girl.
I'm just saying, we need a sixth man.
Yep.
But the problem is, the citizens should be a part of the starting team.
I'm about to use that, Timberly. That was good.
Give me my credit.
That was good. I just did, Timberly.
No, I'm saying
that
when you use it, say my name.
No, I'm not. Say my name. Say my name.
Well,
that was good, though.
By the way, Mike, was it Lil Jon is her name?
Essica, yes.
Man, not only is she good.
Look, get off my line, David.
No, hey, man,
now you finna come at my vice president, man. Jesus, you're hungry, you're thirsty.
Look,
you're thirsty.
Mike, I'm an old man. I ain't lying. Look, not only is she good looking, but she made it plain. The part I saw, man, that was strong.
What
if I were a union member, man, I'd be like, tell it like it is.
Well, you mean slapped in the face and punched in the gut?
Man, man, and then you got crumbs. You ought to, man. Y'all got good representation. And let me say this. I swear I leave after this. Anytime the folks that you are against, the people that you are fighting against, say they don't like the people that are representing the people. Timberly is probably a little bit more articulate on this than I am. I'm trying to rush too. But the point is that the union should be afraid when the city said they like the union head. Not when they don't like them. I mean, so that's it. All right, bro.
Unless they're doing right. Now, if everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, then...
Well, okay. Well, and how many times in life does that happen? I'm just making it plain. This is a city that the leader across the world came and died over an employee situation.
Exactly. And it was economic.
That's right.
It was economic.
So... yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
And we didn't learn from that. All right.
Thank you so much, David.
All right.
Hey, real quick, I did want to get into, because this is the Memphis Police Association show. We did a show on last Thursday the television show, Wake Up Memphis from Behind the Badge. And I said something, and I wanted to say it on the radio because I wanted to talk about the contract that these guys are trying to get these young police officers to sign. Now, the Crime Commission, Memphis Tomorrow, Mayor Jim Strickland, they're trying to union bust, period. Bottom line. Kemp Conrad trying to union bust. Berlin Boyd, which, God, man, I can't understand for the life of me, a black man, trying to union bust. See, this has been our problem the whole time in the city of Memphis. We've had black people that have been put in positions, and they try to hold the rest of the population down. We don't have the bus services. Why not? We've had a predominantly black city council. We've had a black mayor in the city. But those areas have been affected. We don't have youth programs in this city. We've had a predominantly black city council and a black mayor all the way up until year before last. So I'm not going to put it all on Jim Strickland. I'm not going to do that. He inherited some of this. However, he was one of the ones on the council that contributed to this, but we had 7 African Americans that allowed it to happen. We got 7 African Americans on the county commission that allow things to happen in this city to the black community. Now, I want to talk about that contract. I think it is a travesty. First of all, where do you get $6.1 million from? $6.1 million. Because the police association got big mouths. We got a television show. We got a radio show. And see, we ain't going to be that one that sit in the room while you beat and rape us and you rake us over the coals. And just like David said, we're going to make a lot of noise.
It's hard to bully the police like this.
And I don't think they get it. We put ourselves in life and death situations every day. So do you think some yahoo downtown's gonna scare me? Do you think some rich dude gonna scare me? I've been in Iraq. I've been in Afghanistan.
You served on the streets of Memphis. This is the thing. It's hard to scare someone who's been on the front line and seen life.
No. I grew up in North Memphis.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was a survival right there.
Man.
I don't even think they got that. They don't get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
went to North
You
Memphis.
can't eat me.
I went to North Side, so.
But anyway, but not only am I beginning to be upset with those guys because they come up with $6.1 million. They want to give it to the officers. First of all, in our MOU, Article 3 says you cannot enter into an agreement with an individual officer. It has to come through the police association, number one.
Explain what an MOU is.
Memorandum of Understanding, our contract, or a memorandum of agreement, okay? So it has to come through the union, but what they're trying to do is union bust to circumvent the union, and they're trying to go around us to make the MPA irrelevant, if you could call it that, and to go directly to the officers. See, they've been doing surveys directly to the officers because they have access to them. Being that they're city employees, being that they have city email, they'll go directly to the officers and have them fill out surveys. Whereas we provide them with surveys that we get because we want to know how the officers feel too.
But y'all might be lying though.
Well, yeah.
That's the implication that it seems.
And that's cool. And that's cool. But their surveys are no different than our surveys. They get the same answers.
But I think ultimately it sounds like a way to discredit someone because when someone comes to you and tells you something and then you turn around.
Dula, if you don't stop squirming up in this joint, man.
Man, y'all.
When somebody tells you something and then you sit there and you disagree with them adamantly or you go back, and I'm not saying that everybody should take what they hear as fact. We see that because we got a president that, just
I ain't finna mess with that man.
But when someone tells you something and it's a credible person that's, sounds like they've done the research, And they are in charge of that, like the MPA is. You all represent the police officers. It makes it seem as if they believe that you're manufacturing numbers when they go back and issue the same surveys all over again.
Kimberly, but this is the deal.
And they waste city dollars.
This is the deal, though, Kimberly.
And time.
You have Memphis Tomorrow, which, in order to be a part of the organization, your company is supposed to be worth $250 million. Yes. These are the guys that control this city. All right? So all of these...
It sounds like a country club membership.
It is. It is. Point blank, period. But these are the guys that control the future of the city. They're the ones that the politicians are allowing to plot the course of the city of Memphis. Now, the Crime Commission, which is headed by Bill Gibbons right now, who was the district attorney when the juvenile court, when the Justice Department came in here and censured juvenile court. You know why? Because they were locking up all the little black youth. Disparity. All right? So he goes to Nashville. For some reason, he has to leave and come back to Memphis. And they give him a nice cush position over the Crime Commission. He's the same guy that wanted to bring Kelly in here as an advisor who was the main proponent in stop and frisk. And we stood up against that and said, no, don't do it. So now this guy, you got Memphis Tomorrow, who's doing all the development in the city, all of the planning. They're making all of the money, utilizing city tax dollars. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's no problem for them to give 6.1. So they turn around and send it through the Crime Commission to make Bill Gibbons relevant again, because he has not been relevant, and he ain't relevant as far as Mike Williams is concerned. So now he stand up and say, oh, we got a grant. You got a grant from Memphis Tomorrow. Nah, you just want to boost Mayor Strickland and help Mayor Strickland out because he's in trouble right now. So now you want to circumvent and you want to help Union Bust. Yeah, I'm saying it.
I'm shaking my head because it's sad.
And what's really getting me is you got senior police officers that are telling these young men, looking them in their face and telling them to sign this freaking contract. Yes. Now that's starting to get me more than anything. They're telling you looking at these young people in their face and telling them that this is the best thing for them. You telling these young people that this is the only, you're not going to get you got some senior police officials that are saying you're not going to get your benefits back. You got some senior police officials that are telling these young people, don't turn that money down. To me, it's almost like Judas and 30 pieces of silver. But see, some of these senior police officials, they make a whole lot of money. They're not in the same position. They're going to be guaranteed jobs when they leave here that's going to make a lot of money if you're a team player. So you trying to help Memphis Tomorrow, the Memphis Crime Commission, and Mayor Jim Strickland sell these young people down the river. I have issues with that.
Maybe they should change their name.
Let me say that again. Judas sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver. But the good thing about Judas was he went and hung himself.
Oh my gosh. Mike. Look, this is how
What?
I feel about that.
What?
This is how I feel about it.
I'm telling you, man, I'm almost like Dula. I'm sick of this stuff. You can't make this stuff up. You got Berlin Boyd selling the black community out. Mike Williams said that. Berlin Boyd, and I'm gonna start screaming it from the mountaintop. Berlin Boyd is selling the black community out. Edmund Ford is selling the black community out. And I don't know why y'all like these people.
Don't look at me and say y'all. Now look, this is what
Excuse me.
going to say.
That's my southern drawl. Y'all.
Yeah, but you looked at me like.
I mean, you know, you're supposed to be a Democrat. You're supposed to be taking care of North Memphis, Smoky City, Klondike, Molintown, Bearwater, 7th Street, New Chicago, some of the most affected areas in this city.
That's where the bus riders meeting was today, New Chicago.
But that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you sitting here going, how come you ain't fighting for community centers? How come you ain't fighting for youth programs? How come you ain't fighting for matters, for the constituents within your area?
Yeah.
How come?
This is my thing. I think Memphis tomorrow needs to be changed to Memphis yesterday.
Well, you can't change it to nothing. They run the city.
I'm saying the name. I think they need to change their name to Memphis yesterday. Look, this is the thing.
This is modern day slavery.
Basically.
And I'm not talking about black and white. I'm talking about modern day economic slavery.
Yes, it's a caste system.
Yes.
It's the poor, it's the have and the have-nots. This is the thing. You can't come in, violate someone's constitutional rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and then tell them they should be okay and they shouldn't be committing crimes and they shouldn't be doing this and they shouldn't be doing that. Just trust us. But things are getting worse. You can't have the boys club of old still running it if they aren't going to bring new innovative ways to make this city prosper. We are behind as a whole. We're behind in, I don't want to say we're behind in the arts as a whole, but as far as what we get songs that have been out for probably a year in other cities.
Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows my sorrow.
So when you have the head of MATA look you in the face and say, you know, we're 15 years behind in technology.
Right.
You know, that hurts as a citizen because it's like we should not be. We're a big city with a small town mentality.
Yep.
And it's disgusting.
But you know what the craziest part about it is, though, Timberly? We've been telling them for 15 years.
But
you
we
need
haven't
to do
been
something.
doing anything about
You know
it.
what? You should be able to go to your public official, tell them what your needs, wants, and desires are. They should be what a concept. They should be working on your behalf. Hold on. Stop. Working on your behalf to put that into effect or to acquire those things or to fight at city council so that they'll slice the money out for what their constituents want.
That's in a job description.
Well, but ain't that a simple thing, Dula? I'm getting you in it. You're just going to shake your head, huh? You understand what I'm saying? To me, that's my understanding of it. That's just my understanding of it. Dude, I don't even put a mic over there with him no more. He just don't even want to talk to me.
Hey, man,
whatever.
You know
Dula trying to stay off
to
that
you.
list that's
Whatever.
put away in the safe.
But I'm saying, you trying to stay off the black list.
I ain't worried about no list.
But that's a simple concept. You know what I'm saying? It's a simple concept. Hey, before we go any further, I see we got another person calling. I want to invite all community organizations. We're going to have a Wake Up Memphis rally on the 18th at Poplar and Highland. If you got a sign, if you have a we don't want smart meter sign. If you got a MATA, we want some MATA bus transportation, better transportation signs. IBEW, the machinists, Fight for Liberty. You know, you don't want smart meters because the police gonna be out there. I told you, we probably, when it comes to activism and standing on street corners and exercising our First Amendment rights, we've been doing that. So, folks look at us like we crazy.
What time?
It's gonna be at 11 o'clock. On the 18th, Poplar and Highland, be there. The public is invited. Whatever your issue is, bring your own sign for whatever your issue is. But see, we got to start letting these people know that, yeah, we may have differences, but we stand together when it comes to the betterment of the city of Memphis.
And we need to actually stand together.
Yes.
If we have a representative in office who is not doing what they're supposed to do, we don't need to reelect them just for the sake of having the incumbent win.
No.
We need to bring in people who are going to do what needs to be done, people that we can trust with our futures, because that is what's happening right now. Our elected officials are controlling our cities, our towns, our states, our country. And when these people aren't doing what they're saying they are doing, when we catch them in a lie, meetings with Russia, when we catch them in a lie.
You leave my president alone.
That's your president.
You know
That's
what?
Fine. And that
Whatever.
can be your president. But my president, I'm still on 44. As far as
You can't be on 44 because 44 is in Palm Beach. Out there, him and Michelle.
So it's 45.
Michelle got on a
45 is in Florida right now, Mar-a-Lago.
Michelle got on a nice
Am I
bikini.
wrong?
Looking good.
He spends more
Obama
time
got
in
his
Florida
swagger
than I
going
do.
on.
And I'm not the
Let me
president.
tell you something. President Obama was my president.
Yes.
But see, I'm one of them old military dudes, man.
I understand.
If that's what the citizens want, that's what the citizens got.
No, that's what Russia wanted.
That's
and
my
what
president.
Russia got.
That's my president. Unfortunately, it's my president. I'm a citizen of the United States. He is the commander in chief.
He is the commander in chief.
Then.
He's the commander in chief. I just don't.
You
like
leave Mr. Trump
recognizing
alone.
Look, the small hand bandit is not going to sit here and lie to me.
The who?
The small hand bandit.
What does that mean?
He has tiny
I don't
hands.
even wanna know, Timberlake.
No, he has tiny hands and he's stealing from the American people.
Jesus
There's
Christ.
no reason that
Look,
this man is on vacation.
You leave
every
Mr. Trump
weekend.
alone. That's my commander in chief. That's my president. And I will not have you talking about him like that on
Yes,
the air.
you will.